The now deserted island of Stroma, which in the old language of the Vikings means the island in the stream. Joining me is John Manson, who was one of the last to leave.
Can you see your house from here, John?
Yes, see the big clump of houses, and then there's two in the line lower. Ours is the furthest in one there.
Right. And how old were you when you left?
When we left,
Yeah.
about 18 years old.
You're about 18?
18, yes, we did that.
People lived on Stroma for thousands of years. It was a way of life that depended on navigating these dangerous waters, knowledge that became part of their folklore.
They were very knowledgeable of the waters. They had to be, you know, they couldn't live in this area without being very knowledgeable of the tide races. The main one is at the north end at the Swilky Point.
The Swilky Point?
Swilky, it's called the Swilky.
Is it a particularly vicious one?
Yes, it is. It's a vicious one.
We land at the harbour on Stroma, a place that John recalls being as busy as a railway station when he was a boy. Back then, 80 people lived here, but just over a century ago, there were 600 inhabitants. Now, Stroma is an island of ghosts. John's family was the last to leave.
We watched the rundown of the island. You know, it's like the whole island was dying as the people went to the mainland. Oh, it was sad to see them going, but it was happy days in your young days when you went to your school. And there'd be about, I'd remember about 12 or 14 people maybe in the school here.
So I imagine that everyone on the island would have known everyone else very well.
Yes, they were. Oh, yes. And the younger people looked after the older ones too. You know, it was nice. It was a nice community. They were very sociable people.
I was just thinking, these fields here on either side of us, would they have been cultivated at one time?
Yes, they would be. They'd be all cultivated. Good arable ground on this side and the east side of the island.
You must have been almost self-sufficient.
Yes, they would be. Oh, yes. They'd hens for the eggs, and they'd a pig that they kept and fattened and killed it off then. Every house would have a cow for milk. They salted the fish that they ate through the winter months. Oh, they were self-sufficient. They hardly needed a shop at all, I think.
A couple of years before John and his family left the island in 1962, they were photographed outside the family home.
Sad to look at it now. Very dilapidated. The birds have moved in when we vacated.
Yeah, they've moved in.
Oh,
Nature's taking over.
We moved out, yes.
So this is the old living room then, is it?
Yes, it is. Well, it's a bed sitting room.
You slept in there?
That's my mother and father's bedroom. And it was the family sitting room at the same time.
So you'd gather in here of an evening, would you?
Oh, yes. Aye. We would eat in here and sit and yarn, listen to the radio. Radio Luxembourg, top 20 hits. We're into all that sort of stuff. Elvis Presley was on the go. Cliff Richard. They were just finding their feet in the hit parade when we were living here.
Is that table your table?
Yes, it is.
Would you have sat around that table?
We would have sat around that
dinner?
table. We had a goat here, like a pet more than anything else. My mother, she always made a high tea on a Sunday night. Pancakes, scones, everything on the gingerbread, everything. And the dogs, we had 2 collie dogs. Now they chased the goat in through the house, and my mother had this table all set. And the goat, he tried to get out through that window at the back of the table, and he put his 2 legs up on top of the table and cleaned it. My mother was not happy about that. We thought it was hilarious, hilarious bit of fun we were having. But my mother was not happy. No, she wasn't happy at that.
A lot of family memories then in this room.
Yes, there is, aye. I've got 5 grandsons and a granddaughter, all very interested in the island and the way of life that was here. They're very interested in that, and it keeps the stories going, you know, it keeps the history rolling along. I think it does anyway. If you don't tell somebody about it, nobody's ever going to know about it then. It'll just fade out altogether.
Making my way past empty houses and crofts, I come to a high point overlooking the Pentland Firth, which is speckled white with its tidal rips and whirlpools. Stroma might be deserted, yet it has the potential to be repopulated. Ironically, the swirling tidal streams that once cut people off could attract them in the future.
The wild and turbulent waters around Stroma are amongst the most powerful in the world, making this island in the stream a perfect location for the generation of tidal power, which, if it happens, will plug this tiny little island into the 21st century in a big way.
My next grand tour of the Scottish Islands takes